Anybody out there? Hello?
Who's this, please?
Harbor Master, B. Lavallo.
Harbor Master Lavallo, how are you? John Pinto.
Doc, I'm okay. I'm reclined with my toes touching the ceiling.
Oh my God. That's it.
I
hope it's a pretty sight.
so I didn't think anybody would want to see me reclined with my feet touching the ceiling, so I'm doing it by phone tonight.
Okay, that's good.
I had my 2 hours of therapy. I just got home like 40 minutes ago, and I'm like,
how's
ready
the recovery? How's the
it's
recovery?
going okay.
Good.
It's going okay. I still can't. I could bend the knee to like 120 degrees, but I can't extend it. I can't extend it straight yet.
Oh boy, yeah. That's gonna take.
So what they
PT.
It'll take time. It takes time. But what they do is they extend your leg, and they basically sit on your knee.
Yes. Yeah, that's not fun.
No, I'm a little bit of discomfort at the moment.
Oh boy. Well, I tell you,
That's all. How are you?
Good. Everyone's well so far. Knock on wood. You know.
All right. Good.
Alan's here. We have Alan here.
Captain Kibby's there.
Dennis, Captain Kibby. he's muted right now.
Oh, he's muted. That's Captain. I call him Captain K.
Captain Kid.
Yeah, Captain Chaos.
I don't think he's paying attention to us.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dennis.
How you doing?
I see.
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
I went through those names and I got some information for you, but I don't know if it's what you're looking for.
Okay.
We'll talk to-
I'll good or bad?
Well, it's just an update on what, I don't know if you probably know most of it, but I just, brought it to light based on what the application said. So I don't know how deep you got into it, but some of these people have waited in years.
Okay. Listen, I'll call you. I'll give you a shout tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good.
Because like I said, I talked to Norm Edwards a little while ago, and like I said, his guy is going out there tomorrow, so we'll
That's a good
we'll
thing.
get on top of it.
That's a good thing.
Yep, we'll be on top of it.
I know that. I have no doubts.
No doubt. Yeah, for sure. Sure, we'll straighten it out. We're getting there.
Oh yeah, better than it was.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's for sure.
Let's see. Okay.
Hey, Dennis
Mike, how are you?
or Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. Who? Jeff. Okay, sorry.
That's okay, buddy. It's been a long
I haven't
time.
recognized voices yet.
Hold on. There you go. How's that?
All right,
There you
that
go.
face I
Yeah.
can't forget.
Yeah, it's kind of hard doing it from the phone. You got to really listen pretty good.
Yes,
You're on the phone, John?
that's Bruce.
I am. Bruce is.
Oh, Bruce. Oh, okay.
Like I said, I didn't think anybody was interested in seeing me with my feet elevated to the ceiling.
Can't you afford a computer or a screen?
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't think anybody want to see me laying on my back.
Why not?
Hey, listen, if you're down with it, I'll do it.
We've seen worse. We've seen worse. I'm sure.
Well, I haven't. So let's.
Yeah, I don't want to scare anybody.
No.
Don't worry. Was here.
Dr. Pinto?
Hi, Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Good.
Good.
You know, we got that grant
Oh, fantastic.
from the DOT.
Yeah, yeah.
A little time and effort to that one. The one that we really have to garner is the one for the city docks.
Right.
That's going to be hopefully next year. See, Jim Bajek is here. Jim, how are you? Are you online?
John, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Jim.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Thank you for attending. I know you're going to be on vacation very shortly.
Yeah,
Or are
it
you on
was a little-
vacation now?
yeah, it was a little touch and go, but
I hope we'll only be probably about a half hour, and then you could be on your way or go
good.
get-
We're gonna do a little beach walk after this.
Oh, good. How have you
Nice.
been? Now you're down in Florida, aren't you?
Yeah, right now I'm on Cape Cod.
Okay. Oh, so you're up here.
Yeah.
Oh, the other Florida. That's what I meant. That Florida.
Oh, there we are. You look good.
Yeah.
Things going well?
Yeah, everything's going good.
Good.
Yeah. Busy.
Hey, keeps you off the streets.
I'm trying to retire.
Uh,
My clients won't let me.
don't do that. You have an exit plan or what?
Not really.
All right. Well, don't do it until you have that exit plan.
I mean, I could retire tomorrow.
Well, God bless you.
Having too much fun.
You want to share that fun?
Who are we missing here?
We're
We have
slowly
a quorum?
populating. Yeah, I guess Jeff said it. Jeff, I just talked to Jeff. He's going to log on to his computer shortly.
John Crispo is going to be late. He's getting out of work. He's going to get here as soon as he can.
I know work interferes with life. That's
Yeah, I think we have a quorum right now, to be honest with you. It's 6 o'clock. We could start the meeting.
You have a quorum? No.
Yes, we do.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Do you confirm that, John?
Absolutely. Oh, here's Jeff.
Okay. Well, Jeff doesn't count anyway.
Oh,
Hi, Jeff.
Wow.
that's cold.
Okay, let's start the meeting. Let's see here. Let's do the pledge. Would Lori, would you start us off on the pledge?
Can count on you, Jeff. Thank you.
I pledge the allegiance.
Allegiance to the
The
flag
flag
of
of the United States of
of
America
America.
and to the republic
Republic for
which
which
stands
stands
one
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
Thank you. I would like to welcome aboard Mark Matthews. And I know he sent an email out, I guess, to most of us, and it's good to see you, Matt, and I wish you well on that commission.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Look forward to meeting everybody here coming up.
What's
So
your
it's
background? What's
it's
your
Mike.
background, John?
Mike. It's Mike. Okay.
It's Mike Matthews, but you know, I'll go by anything here at this point.
Mike, if you don't mind, if you can send me your email address, so when I send out applications, you'll be on the list.
Will do.
All right. Let me see. Well, if you have a pencil paper, I need email is PintoJ, PINTOJ at, you got it?
Yes, sir. Pinto J.
At PINTOJ at optonline.net.
Okay, I'll send it right over.
And I'll be sure to send you all our applications. I'm sure you'd be anxious to see.
Yeah,
see
jump
those.
right in.
You'll be sorry.
Hmm. So Mike, why don't you tell us about yourself a little or a lot?
Sure, I'll jump right in here. I'll keep it short. I won't go into a lot here. But professionally am in the clean energy business, specifically in offshore wind, which has my work intersect a lot with maritime issues. I work with a lot with vessel manufacturers over in Europe, bringing them over to the United States. I work with a lot of harbor management issues, and I have a lot of experience in kind of state and local governments down in the mid-Atlantic involving the environment. I'm an avid angler. I don't have a boat right now, but I do have a blow-up stand-up paddleboard, which allows me to kind of get along the harbor and kind of examine all of the issues that we're looking at both the inner harbor and the outer harbor. And that's about it. It's my wife and I and our puppy, our chocolate lab. And when I'm not working or obviously here working on applications through the commission, again, you can find me on the water. That's about it. Happy to answer any questions.
Probably excited about the state docks up in New London, already established there for bringing in all that wind equipment, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited that there's a little bit of some back and forth going on there that happy to discuss over a cup of coffee or something strong.
The newspaper has been following very closely what's going on with that the DOT. Exactly.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Great to have you aboard.
Well, thank you.
Is Delesco aboard right now? Does anybody know? Amelia?
Maybe she's.
Sorry about that. I saw Matt's email saying he didn't get
Yeah,
the link, so I
gonna-
just sent it to him and I'm replying to him
Okay.
right now. So I'll send him that email and hopefully he can join us shortly.
So he's not aboard right now?
He's not on right now. I'm also going to let him know that he can join as a guest and I can promote him to panelist.
Okay, so we won't do it well right at this point.
But he has the
Yeah.
email. I'm just going to follow up with him quickly.
Dennis, John Crespo is running late, he said.
Yeah, I got his email, Jeff.
He's coming back from work.
Yes, thanks. Okay, we'll turn it over to John Pinto.
All right. No, thank you, Dennis. The first application, again, both applications I'm going to review tonight is the agent is Mr. Bajek. The first one is Roten Point. The applicant is Roten Point Associations, and they propose to modify an existing boat ramp by adding a 26-foot by 48-foot section of concrete ramp at the waterward edge of the existing ramp. And then the work will be conducted by first removing approximately 92 cubic yards of primarily sand from the ramp extension area with the removed material to be spread on the existing adjacent beach. Next, a 2-foot by 2-foot by 4-foot concrete reinforced block will be set into place, I guess, in the extension area to form the ramp. This installation will include about 156 concrete blocks, and the ramp extension will end just beyond the mean low water line, allowing again safe launching and recovery of the association's sailboats and other watercraft. And I've asked Mr. Bajek to give us sort of a quick rundown and be able to answer any questions that we might have that application. Everyone received that application.
Sure enough. Thanks, John. Yeah, the association has had a ramp at this location for several decades. It was, I think it was Irene, really wiped out the one that was there at the time. And then they went and replaced it with this ramp. It's fully the existing ramp is fully permitted by DEEP. And we've had conversations with DEEP, with Sue Jacobson about doing the extension. I sent her the plans, and she said she thought this was pretty straightforward, but it would require a structures dredge and fill application. So that's where we are at this point. The ramp is used almost exclusively during the summer program months by they have a junior sailing program, and I believe they also launched their boats there that they use at the docks. But right now, it's very difficult to for the kids to launch the boats and recover them. So this ramp extension will be a welcome thing for everybody. So I guess I welcome any questions.
Yeah, the amount of dredging that you have to do is just what the at the end of that ramp, and the
Yeah.
material is going to be spread up above on the beach along the shoreline there.
Yes, it will. You know, if there's any coarse rocks or anything, they'll be picked out. And, you know, the material will be raked and spread on the beach.
Is it mostly
But
sand, or is that some of our black mayonnaise that we have in?
no, it looks like very clean material. You know, it's light colored, and then mostly sand.
Do you have a plan we could look at, Jim?
I can't share it with you. Maybe
Okay.
John, is it possible for you to put that up on the screen?
Hold on.
Because I don't have that. I'm not at my office, so I don't have access.
Yeah, let me see here.
My architectural background, I was looking for a plan.
Let's see.
I can if you need to, John.
I did send it.
I'm sorry, you have it, Chris?
I can, yeah, I can.
I can share
Yeah,
it.
if you have it handy.
Yes. Find the window.
Amelia should be able to give you share.
I got it. I just got to find the right window.
Okay.
This is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was existing conditions.
Yeah. Okay. So existing. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Sheet 5.
existing ramp.
All right. Existing. Is this existing?
Yeah, that's existing cross section.
Existing grade.
And that's what the extension will look like.
So,
So there's no float that's included with this, or?
No, this is just to launch and recover boats. There's a float that's off to the side. There's a jetty.
there's a float here. We've reviewed this before. I
Yeah,
believe.
Okay.
that's where the association keeps, you know, the boats that you know, the trainers and, you know, the people that watch over the junior sailing program. That's where they keep the boats. But the sailboats are stored on land.
Here's,
So the ramp is used to launch the sailboats.
right.
Okay,
So it
understand.
goes below mean low water by a little bit.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Jim, Alan Kibbe, you're going to be excavating what, about 2 feet deep there?
yes, just what it will take for the blocks.
Is there DEP going to require any sediment testing there?
I don't believe they're going to require it since it's mostly beach sand.
But
Yes.
Alan's right. It's 2 feet deep.
Yeah.
By 26 by 48.
Just from the photographs, it looks like it's like more more than sand. It's kind of like, looks kind of muddy out there is only my concern.
It's not really muddy. I mean, they launched the boats right over that material, so and they don't sink in.
And this is a beach that's used for bathing or swimming and things like that, or is it just a?
Yeah, off to the side, there's a beach area on, the shoreline goes some distance to the east. And there's another jetty that kind of cuts the beach into two halves. This half is used for the boating, and then the eastern half is used for swimming and beach going.
I'll go to the.
I also sent some photographs.
Yeah, that's what I'm switching.
Yeah, which kind of shows a better picture. It shows the kids launching one of the sailboats. And I also provided an overhead view of that area.
John, if
Hi, Joe.
it helps any, I'm a member and have been using the facilities there since 1980 something or other. And the people that sail out of here mostly sail things like sunfish, Hobies, Macras, and up to C-class catamarans. And this was the place where the Little America's Cup was held for a few years. And they all launch by hand. It's not a motorized launching area, and vehicles don't go up and down. However, if you take a look at this photograph, you do have cobble as you move further out. But as was described, it is mostly a sandy bottom. And you don't hit the mayonnaise until you get out. You can see where the boats, the launches for the sailing programs and the competitions are off on the left-hand side there. You don't hit the mayonnaise until you get out beyond the last boat.
So yes, it won't affect any shellfish substrate.
Well, you get shellfish in there. I mean, that there is, but it's not an overabundance.
Yeah.
You know.
So you're going to extend right where you see right where the mean low water mark is. Yeah.
That's your cobble that you see there.
What is the material now that is down there?
Plywood.
Oh, that's plywood. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's plywood, just to help them launch
Yeah.
the boats a little easier.
And that area will be replaced with the block.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is remaining to the left.
Yep, that'll be left there, added to.
Well, does anyone else have any further comment? Well, again, I could make a recommendation proposal for that we reviewed the application and that we have found it. Is it anybody have any objection to that being consistent, but certainly consistent with the harbor management plan?
I'll make that motion.
We support.
Can we have a discussion, John?
Yeah, well, that's
I'll second the motion. We can discuss now.
All right.
So
Jeff?
this is a pre-application, so the motion would be to have no objection to the application proceeding to a permit application. Right, Jim? This is a pre-application prior to.
This is the pre-application coordination that we're required to do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So that it's not a question of consistency with the plan now, just having no objection.
No objection for the moving forward.
Reserving our right to review it at
Right. Okay.
such time as it goes to public notice.
Yeah. So I retract that. That we have no objection to the proposal moving forward, and that we.
I'm happy to make that motion.
Yeah, and that we'll certainly await for the final application, review that.
All right, I'll second the new motion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay. All right, Jeff, I'm sorry, Jim, we'll get that letter to you. and
Okay,
fill out the usual form.
yeah,
And
thank you.
now the next is a pre-application, right? Next application is a pre-application at Woodland Road. It's a pre-application, and the applicant proposes to install a private recreational dock that will consist of a 4x4 by 1 foot concrete landing that will be attached to an existing ledge outcrop extending from the shoreline. The dock will be accessed by walking along the ledge outcrop to the landing, and then which they're going to have a 3 foot by 38 foot aluminum ramp will connect to the landing and extend to a 5 by 5 foot ramp support float section that's 7 feet by 14 foot, which is a main float. And the main float will have a 6 inch square by 30 inch long legs under each corner to keep the float from 18 inches from the bottom. And they justified why they wanted 30 inch long legs there. They have metal stabilizing bars on each side of the dock that will connect to the land and will for the main float corners to stabilize the position of the dock, floating dock. And Jim, if you want to take us through the.
Yeah,
Let
again, I
me ask,
don't have,
how is this different than what we voted on in 2 months ago?
no, things have not changed. Well, they changed slightly. We reduced the size of the
Dock
concrete landing
landing.
that's going to be on top of the ledge. We took another look at that. We had proposed, I think it was a 5 by 8 foot. And we thought that was kind of excessive, so we scaled it back. Now, I sent plans along with the consultation request form. Does anybody have that electronically that they could share?
I sent everything out here. Let me see if I can grab that again.
You're looking for the application?
Yeah, I can't, let's see, transmittal form. Can't seem to call it up here.
This one?
There we are.
Is this
Yeah.
what you- Okay.
Yeah, that was the original application that we submitted to Deep and to your office. The Deep recently discovered that they weren't regulating 440 docks correctly. That someone, I don't know who, but someone pointed out that the regulations that relate to the 440 docks specifically say that the dock cannot be over tidal wetlands. This came to be after we submitted the application to Deep. And apparently quite a few applications got caught up in this. So Deep contacted us about it and sent us a letter explaining things. And then they said that the only way we're going to get this permitted is to apply under the structures dredge and fill application process. So yeah, see, this was the original proposal with the 5 by 8 foot concrete landing. The rest of the dock is in the same position, but the only thing we changed was the landing size. So this is a pre-application submittal under the structures dredge and fill process. Just a couple of comments about this. Our client kind of insisted that we come up with a design that is not visually obtrusive. And so they did not want piles sticking up out of the water. And that's why we came up with this design with the stabilizer bars and the legs under the float.
Jim, will we, once we have our next review, will we see structural elements of this, like what holds the legs on and what the nature of the stabilizer bars is? That's just a lot of dock to hold in place with a bar. I'd like to see more about what the connections are and things like that.
You mean as far as like design drawings?
Yeah, are they part of the next presentation?
No, we don't. I mean, we don't have design drawings. These drawings are sufficient to get the docks permitted.
I understand that.
So
I would look forward to seeing the next round of drawings.
But we probably won't have those ready for some time. I mean.
No, I understand. I don't want to see them now. I'd like to see them in the future. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
So there's not going to
That's-
be any pilings? Is,
Nope, no piles, nope. And that's the ledge outcrop that will be the access point.
The legs that extend down into the substrate, those are wooden?
Yes. Yeah. And I personally dug out there to determine how thick the mud layer was.
That's how you came up with the 30-inch.
Mhm. Yep.
so that float, what if, what if we had another Irene or Sandy?
This float would be physically removed before that storm would hit.
Okay.
Well, those are usually requests that we make, that docks, that be removed during, was it, I forget, we have a,
It's a mad scramble, but it's worth the effort.
Yeah, otherwise you're fishing it out of Village Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you never know where it's going to end up and what kind of damage, and then you got to pay to get everything replaced and pay for damages and whatnot. So it
Jim,
just
I have
makes
a question. So it looks like the information I received from John for tonight's meeting is still a 440 application. Maybe
No,
we
it's-
didn't, it's not.
no,
Chris, can
no.
you see?
It should be there should be a consultation form.
that's all I said. I sent out whatever I had from you, Jim.
Yeah,
I don't know,
Yeah, I
Chris, if
only
you
have
can
it.
see it. I just went back and looked at what I
I'm
received.
scrolling up to see this. So this is,
Oh, so it's
yeah, this
440.
is 440 dock and access thing. With this,
Yeah, this is what I originally sent.
Well, that's what I received, Jim, from,
When did you receive it?
well, when, God, let me see.
I mean, I sent
The 23rd. We got it on the
23rd.
23rd
23rd of
August.
July.
No, with me, I'm trying to look and see where.
Oh.
Oops. I can't seem to retrieve some of the stuff that I want here.
Yeah, that's the original submittal.
if I can find it.
5:30.
I submitted the revised information almost the same day I submitted the Roten Point information.
Yeah, and I thought that's what I downloaded, Jim.
And
All right.
that was about a week and a half ago, 2
Yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
All
I
right.
think I have it here. There you go.
Should be a consultation form.
Cover letter. See, at the time we get the PDF files are piecemeal, you know?
This is,
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah, that's old.
Okay.
Well, like I say, nothing's changed except for the size of the concrete block that the ramp is going to be attached to. And John, when I get back from my vacation after the 1st, I can
All right.
resend the consultation form and the plans.
The pre-application consultation form, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That shouldn't be any problem. I know I have it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then again, we can reiterate our last comment with regard to having no objection to plans moving forward, and then Jeff.
Can I ask a question, John? Jim, on your drawing, where are the applicant's extended property lines? Or are those not, you're not able to show them on the drawing?
Can't really show them, Jeff. And let me show you. If you go to sheet 4 of the plans, that you were
Yeah.
just showing me?
Chris, do you have the plans handy?
Yeah.
I got I have, well, I have what John sent to us. I have the 440 one. I have plan 2 of 4.
Yeah, go to that one. Go to sheet 4 of those plans.
Okay, I have plan 2 of 4, plan 3 of 4, and that's all the plans. Then it goes into the photographs.
Well, the photograph is what I want to get to.
All right, all right.
All right.
Because that shows where the property lines are. There would be the overhead, there's an overhead view that's sheet 4 of the plans. It's not a photograph.
Okay.
So if you back up on the plans. Oh, you don't have a sheet 4?
No,
Mhm.
Oh. Well, the owner owns roughly 400 feet of property. And let's see, the dock.
this proposed structure then is significantly removed from the property line then.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yeah, it looks like whoever copied these plans, copied it into a PDF format and forgot one page,
It kind of looks that way.
you know.
But the dock is about 100 feet from the northern property line and roughly 300 feet from the southern property line.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Well, the revised plans that we'll receive next time, Jim, will have the littoral lines on the map.
Okay, we'll do that on that sheet 4 then. That's not a problem at all.
Right. Anybody else have any further comment? Make a proposal, then we can have no objection to the plans, the pre-application plans have no objection to their inclusion in an application submitted to DEP.
I'm abstaining.
All right, and that we reserve the right to continue to review the application, provided additional comments at such time, it may be modified. You want to second that motion?
Second that, John.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any abstention?
I abstain.
Chris?
McConnell. Yeah.
All right. And all right, so move then. We'll move ahead with that, Jim. I'll get you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
And I think that concludes our action, other than our standing action items that remain still outstanding, and that is we still await Eversource's proposal to do work in Norwalk Harbor. That has not been submitted yet, and neither does DEP have any idea of where that application might stand with regard to the transmission lines underneath the harbor. We still haven't heard anything about that. And that's all we have for as far as application.
Okay, thank you, John. I do not have a chairman's report. I will go to staff reports. Harbor Master Lavallo, are you ready?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I would like to go on the record tonight thanking Sergeant Peter Lepack and Officer Mike Silva, who will be hanging up both their captain's hats with the Norwalk Police Marine Unit. Sergeant Lepack is completing 44 years of service.
Wow.
And Officer Mike Silva is completing 35 years of dedicated service to the boating community within Norwalk waters.
It's going to be hard to
I
find.
just want to say, both their water knowledge and experience and friendship will be missed by myself and the rest of the boating community.
Are there going to be
Couple other
ways
things.
of phone call, Bruce? Are they gonna?
I think Sergeant Lepak is moving down south.
Okay. No one's amenable for consultation, huh?
I'm sure he'll pick up the phone if I call him.
Any indication on who's filling the spots, Bruce?
The sergeant coming in, he'll be starting September 1st. He's a young lad. His name is Justin Basigli. He's now a patrol sergeant, but he's also on the dive team with me. So he does know a little bit of the water and situation, but I'm sure we'll break him in the correct way. And there's an officer now that's been assigned for this summer, Officer Owen Lee, who took over for Officer Silva, who also has a boat and is well known through our waters. Second thing is I'm continuing working with Norm Edwards, looking for abandoned moorings. We've been a little bit successful in our harbor. I'm now working over in the Wilson Cove and South Beach or Crescent Beach, Bell Island area. I looked up a few today and discovered that some haven't paid in a few years. So I'm working on that. And the two transient moorings that I had placed last month outside the East Channel, we're still waiting on Docwa to get set up with that. But just to let everybody know, I've had 4 vessels sail up from the Carolinas, and they've spent an overnight. I gave them a courtesy to sit on the mooring for the overnight. I figured that'll maybe put the word out that we're starting up with transient moorings in our harbor. And the last thing is I just want to bring to the commissioners is since we're not set up with Docwa yet, I had someone call me last night asking if we had any moorings available. He's in a tight spot, may need to sit on a mooring for 3 months, and I thought it'd be a good idea maybe to charge this person an amount, maybe like $150 a month, and maybe we could recoup a little bit of money for what we put out. And that's about it.
Jeff, have we gone through any fee processes for transient moorings?
We haven't, if that's to me. No, we haven't. I would imagine that it would be for a overnight somewhere around $50 or so.
Dennis, we've sort of agreed with the Shellfish Commission and the 5 Mile River Commission on sort of matching their $40 a night rate. Starting out with our moorings in Norwalk Harbor. Once we can push the city along to get that account set up as a place to start.
That's fine. That's fine. I wasn't sure if there's anything in place or you talked about it or discussed it. But
the thing is, Docwa is already city already has an account. It would be easy to just add this to that Docwa. So we just have to get with the city, or I don't know where that stands actually.
Yeah, this process started in February with Docwa with the city,
Yeah.
and we haven't gotten very far yet. And it seems just a little bit difficult since the city already has an arrangement with Docwa for the 5 Mile River moorings, that it wouldn't be simpler for them to vet Docwa as a city vendor, but it's taking an inordinate amount of time. And we've again, it's the right thing to do to let transients stay on these moorings for free, since we have no way of collecting money for them. And it's kind of why they're there in the first place. They're intended to welcome people to Norwalk and let them find out you can have a great evening in Norwalk by going to Sono or the mall or the Stepping Stones Museum or any of that. So that's all the purpose of those transit moorings, really. But Bruce has a very good point about trying to recoup some of our costs for putting these moorings in. I just received a bill today for the hardware and the painted mooring balls and all so our investment so far is $875 for the two moorings installed in the harbor. We've not yet collected any revenue, so I would think that we should, if we all agree, we should say, well, it's $200 a month or pick a number. If you did $40 a night times 30 days, you'd be talking $1,200 a month. It's the end of the season. People are going to stop traveling. So it seems like anything we could get would be helpful. If we could get $200 a month, that would be terrific. And I don't know how we exactly do that. I would suggest that Harbor Master Lavallo collect a check made out to the Harbor Commission from the person who wants to occupy these moorings. So we'll just deposit to the commission, and it will help offset the cost of the moorings.
So we're looking at maybe $200 a month for this particular individual.
Yeah, I would agree with $200.
Comments on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think 200,
guys-
250 is perfectly, acceptable. That's about
Yeah.
$6, $7 a night. So,
That's cheap.
yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that 250 range, I don't see a better bargain to be had.
And I think he'll just cut a check and we'll just deposit it in our account.
Mhm.
Keep
Yep.
it,
Yeah, I'll personally collect the check. So
give
Yeah, I
it,
think
give it
that's
to me
fine.
and I will get it into the account. Or even Alan could do it.
Bruce, how large is the vessel?
it's a 40-foot lures.
Okay. What are the mushrooms?
So
Weight?
on those, they're a little over 500 pounds, I believe.
What's that rated for though? Like boat tonnage?
That size, about a 40-foot boat. I'll have to tell this gentleman, hey, listen, if there's a nor'easter or a storm coming up, he'll have to pop off it. That's the case.
Bruce, those moorings obviously must comply with our city mooring standards, right, that are published, correct?
Yes.
They were abandoned moorings that were reused or
No. Yeah.
well, I mean, they were,
A tackle.
yeah.
It was a, how can I, it was a swap out. Whatever he took out of the East Channel, and then he put, because I said we want moorings to accept at least a 40-foot boat, a transient mooring,
Right. Okay, any other comments?
So-
Mr. Chairman, just curious, should we, I don't know if it's any advantage of us to start considering the concerns that we might have with regard to moorings of barges in that area, especially during the construction period of the Walk Bridge. We're going to be losing some moorings in that area if the DEP, actually the DOT, uses that area for staging of any sort, docking of barges in that area. We have a series of moorings in that south anchorage that might need to be replaced or
Correct.
removed.
That's an issue that we haven't signed off on.
Yeah, I know, that's correct.
This
And we still wait. I mean, that's going to be,
that-
we need to, well, yes, that's dovetails into perhaps our next comment, which we do, and that is get a letter to the Attorney General with regard to the Harbor Master's authority in the harbor.
So-
Particular
so-
comment on that, my report.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Jeff. All right. Yeah. All right. You're going to talk
So
about
if
that?
I could just back up. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, so this is only like a temporary thing. He may need it for a month or two. The longest would be maybe November, but he was just looking for just a few months until he's able to get a dock in Cove. Yeah, it would be nice down the road to know where they want to put these barges. These two transient moorings are, if anybody's familiar with the spindle light coming out of the east channel, they're pretty much near that spindle.
Yeah, you can't miss them.
Yeah.
So we have to be concerned about the moorings that are going to be displaced by the barge. And
That's something, that's a multifactorial issue that we
yeah,
have.
I know. And I'm
Well,
sure they're going to come in with the barges. They're going to look to put them there. So,
Well, I think,
I have a-
Jeff, you're gonna be, we'll talk about that a little later in Jeff's report.
Yeah.
Well, I have a procedural question then. If we are forced to take a DOT barge, would we then be able to charge them the per foot rate? And it's not a DOT barge, it's a
commercial's limited to $200.
200.
Unless, of
And
course,
can
we
those
consider
moorings-
that a transient mooring.
Can that mooring handle a barge?
No. They
No,
would have
no,
to bring their own.
no.
they have their own tackle.
Yeah, it's a whole different ballpark.
How do we address if they are taking over mooring space that we're using for existing?
We have to figure that out, Matt. I mean, there's
I mean,
discussion. We'll talk. We're gonna hold that off to later, Jeff.
Yeah.
Or if you just quickly, if I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Maybe this will.
Well, we sort of jumped. Bruce, are you done with your report?
I'm done. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I will share it then.
Well, we could discuss it later if that's
Oh.
the plans. That's not a problem. Let's not waste time now.
All right.
Jeff, you okay with that?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to give my report now or.
Well,
it
actually,
sort of-
you're up next anyway. So
It sort of
decide
dovetails.
what you want
It
to
sort
talk
of
about.
dovetails with the mooring issues. It all comes together.
It's a segue to Jeff. There you go.
Okay, it's all yours, Jeff.
Thank you. The first thing I was going to mention is that we attended the meeting last week of the Connecticut Port Authority, at which time they approved our request for $44,000 for the street end study. So that will look at 16 sites, 16 street end sites, sort of as a reconnaissance or preliminary, and then look in more detail at five street ends that we identified. So the next step is the Port Authority will go to the State Bond Commission, and they're planning to do that in October for the request of the allocation of the funds. And then there will be an agreement between the Port Authority and the city for the use of those funds, and the city will have to select a contractor or someone with the qualifications or a firm with engineering and planning expertise to look at those street end sites. And just for background purposes, at the Port Authority approved a total of about $5.9 million in projects last week for funding through their grant program, including some very large construction dredging project in Stamford and replacement of a city dock up in Norwich. And so I think that we should look forward next year to applying to the Port Authority for funds to replace or improve the Veterans Park Marina, which the city is working on. And I talked with a consultant to the city who said that the Corps of Engineers has given the city the okay to proceed with those plans, even though the marina is in the federal anchorage. And the okay is with the understanding that the marina is open to all on equal terms, non-residents as well as residents, and for the same fee. So that means the city can go ahead with the permitting. And then the permitting, of course, is necessary in order to get the grant, apply to the Port Authority for the grant for the construction. So that's, I guess we'll have to work with the city's grant administrator in the near future on the street end study and how that would go out to bid and how a contractor would be selected.
Jeff, just a question. Did you mention, is there a specific number that was discussed with the state on the grant?
Well, $44,000. That's what, that was what
But there was no
the,
specific number on street ends.
oh, no, well, we submitted a pretty detailed, I don't know if I can show that on my screen. Maybe I can.
I'm
And I-
just kind of curious about the number that we're locked in.
Well, we started out with 16. And we did that because that's what the city planning and zoning department had already identified in their planning documents for street end access. And so we stuck with that because the Port Authority wanted assurances that this was coordinated with other city agencies. So we went with the 16, and then we identified 5 more based on Chris's work that would be looked at in more detail for potential improvements, including structural improvements for public use. So
That's more than I expected. Okay.
yeah, so we have a fairly, well, we had what we thought was a good application, and it was accepted.
Yeah, that's,
Jeff?
I'm really happy. Thank you for your work on that, all that, Jeff. So do we anticipate that DPW will be the lead city agency on this?
I think we would be the lead city agency.
Well, in terms of contracting, well, I mean,
Yeah, we'll have to talk with Rita, the grants person, to see how we proceed with all this. But we have a little bit of time because they don't anticipate getting the allocation of the money from the bond commission until, well, another month in October.
right, they'll ask for it in October. I don't know how long it'll take after that. But yeah, so yeah, we have time. So, I mean, do we want to reach out to Vanessa and try to get something set up in September?
Well, we could do that. We might as well. I
Yeah.
notified Rita that we received the grant, but I didn't get a response from her. So now the next step is, I guess, to work with DPW as to how we're going
All
to
right.
proceed.
I'll reach out to Vanessa and I'll set up a meeting, just, a next step, to figure out how we're gonna structure this. We could certainly start, writing an RFP now, because meaning probably me, you, and Vanessa's people, will have to write an RFP to solicit the consultant who will get the $44,000 to do this work. So there's no reason we can't start that, at risk without, we're not gonna get paid for it anyway. So, yeah, I'll
Chris,
yes.
is the Fitch Point property, between Cove and Fifth Street, part of the study area?
No. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think that the seaside or whatever that curved,
Seaside Point.
I don't think that was included because that's a weird beast. I mean, I'm a little more concerned about Marvin. I mean, we're not Marvin Beach, because I was actually looking at a real estate ad and they claim that they have 3 private beaches. And so the Marvin Beach Association has claimed the street ends for their own and have posted it as non-public access, private
Right.
access. And, I don't want to, our biggest thing is not to go in like a bull in a china shop into these neighborhoods, but, not everybody is going to like everything we're coming up with, especially if they've started to consider it their own. And we're
Yeah,
trying,
I think we have to keep Fitch Point on the table because that's a kind of an adverse, I think it's an adverse possession situation where waterfront property is going to devolve to the property owners
yeah.
out there buying it.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of, the reason we have like 16 sites is we purely anticipate there being, a records review for all these areas. And I'd have to go back and look to see what we included at Fitch Point.
Alan, if I could share my screen, I can just quickly show you the areas that we talked about. See if I have. Can you see my screen yet?
Yes.
It's coming.
Getting there.
All right, so the candidate sites, these red dots, were the areas that we identified as a reconnaissance to see if there are encroachments and restrictions. And then, and Chris had had done his own preliminary assessment of those sites. But then we focused down on these 5 areas. First Street, Cove Avenue, Decker Street, North Street, and Lowndes Street on the harbor.
Yeah,
And then
Your
we
site
had a-
number 2 is Fitch Point.
Yeah,
correct, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we,
That's,
Yeah, so-
that's the Cove Island, not Cove Avenue site at the end.
right,
That's-
and what Alan is talking about is
Nice.
what goes off along the coast to the left and north there.
And here,
You know, what exactly happened there? There was a street that was what would you call it? Demapped is one way, is what you would call it in engineering terms. But we don't really know what exactly happened there.
It's still on our GPS if you drive over there.
Yeah. So there used to be a street that went all in front of all these houses to the left.
yeah, so that's the end of Cove Avenue.
Right.
Before John had passed, he and I had planned to have lunch over there on those Adirondack chairs down by the water to assert our right of utilization of that property.
See what happens, Alan.
I know I need to play a catch up on all this stuff, but Chris and Jeff and everybody else, I'm happy to jump in. I'm really pleased to see these sites, and whatever I can do to not be a bull in a china shop, but kind of be the nice guy. I'm happy to do that, help in any way.
Thank you, because that initial reconnaissance, even if that shows that there's no real opportunities for new structures for public use, it will identify encroachments that have to be addressed. And so we'll organize ourselves to be able to deal with, to utilize that Port Authority money. And then if there are opportunities for improvements, then the next step would be to apply to the Port Authority for the funds to actually do the physical improvements.
Yeah. So just to give Mike a little background, for people like you who like to launch your paddleboard, the intent is to have all these public right of ways that go all the way to the water's edge, and which have been, you know, unmarked and unused, except by neighbors in the know, to have those either developed with some storage or at least cleaned up and marked. If not, 1 or 2 locations we might consider a floating dock. Have all that. This money is meant to go into a study to do all that, so that so when we actually have a plan about what we want to build, what we want to, you know, this is phase 1 of that. So yeah, if you want to blow up your paddleboard and we'll go out there sometime, we can do that.
Happy to do it. Sounds great.
Right. The second part of my report will be to defer to Joe for his water quality committee report, because you're aware of the consent order that we became aware of between the state of Connecticut, DEEP, and the city of Norwalk for necessary work and improvements at the wastewater treatment plant. So the water, Joe can talk about that in his water quality committee report. And then the third part, getting back to the discussion before about the commercial mooring permits that have been issued by DEEP. And we're still waiting on the Corps of Engineers, because they also have to issue a permit. So if I could share my screen again, what we agreed at the last meeting was to write to the Attorney General's office requesting a clarification or confirmation of our understanding that every mooring in the harbor requires a permit from the harbor master, and that the harbor master has the authority to station all vessels. And those statutes don't make a distinction between recreational and commercial vessels. And as we know, in the DEEP permit for the walk bridge, that permits were issued for mooring of the work barges, commercial permits for the work barges, without consultation with the harbor master. So since the last meeting, we've been working on background information on this issue to submit to the Attorney General's office. And I'll just look at very quickly, if you bear with me again, this, I don't know if you can see this, but if it, so we've taken the drawings that were in the DOT permit and outlined the area more prominently the areas that were outlined in that permit. So number one is the area just to the south of the visitors dock. Number two is in the federal anchorage, and number three is out by the lighthouse. So those were areas that were specifically permitted to be used by DOT for barges during the Walk Bridge project. And again, I just quickly, this is the outline of the area just south of the visitors dock, just outside of the federal channel. So we've identified, and this red is just a highlight that we've put on over the area that was identified in the permit itself. So that's an area that would be used for smaller mooring of smaller vessels by the DOT. And we've pointed out that this is an area where we've been developing plans for transient moorings. So when we were, for example of this issue, is when we were preparing that application for the street end study to the Port Authority, we also talked with the Port Authority about whether we could submit a grant for helical moorings that could be used for transient purposes, we were told that that's a potentially fundable grant application, but we could not demonstrate that we would be able to put them in here because the permit, the DEP permit had already been issued to the DOT. So that's one issue with that site. Here's the other site in the anchorage, and here's the channel going up into East Norwalk. And again, we haven't done anything with this drawing other than to put red boxes around the areas that were identified in the permit for the mooring of three large barges. And each of these areas identified in the permit is 150 feet by 250 feet. And I don't know if you can see it here, but here are some of my recent photos showing the recreational boats that are in that anchorage. So that's another area where we have an issue. And the third area is out by the Greens Ledge Light. And these areas here to the south show the lines of private shellfish or leased shellfish areas. So we had asked that before any permit was issued for the requested three, single point moorings of barges, each with a 500-foot swing diameter, that the owners of these or the lessees of these shellfish beds be contacted to see what their comments might be. So in any way, and then here are the harbor master, here are the relevant statutes. The power to station all vessels. Upon adoption of the harbor management plan, no mooring shall be placed in the harbor without a permit from the harbor master. And then we refer to the harbor management plan itself, which has been approved by DEEP. So this, and then we also included our recommendations. So that's the background presentation that we prepared since the last meeting of the issue, and we're finishing the letter to the Attorney General's office now. It'd be interesting to see what sort of response we get. So thanks for letting me talk so much, but I think it's a significant matter.
Is that it? Is that it, Jeff?
Yeah. So thank you, Dennis. Yeah, that's.
We can turn the meter off now.
What's that?
We can turn the meter off now.
Oh, what meter is that? The BS meter or what?
Charge meter.
Oh yeah, don't have to worry about that.
I'm just joking, Jeff.
No,
Okay,
somebody wants to tell me about that.
Well, shellfish, Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we had no applications within the Norwalk Harbor Management Commission jurisdiction. They were all within the 5 Mile River Commission's jurisdiction. The commission would like to thank Sergeant Lepak and Officer Silva for their decades of service as Norwalk shellfish constables, without whom this resource wouldn't be what it is today. Just as a reminder, Connecticut Shellfish Restoration Guide has been published, and Norwalk figures prominently in it. So if you haven't seen it, please look for it online and read through it. It's very well done, in my view.
Who put that out, Steve?
So this, it was a collaboration between Sea Grant and DABA and others, probably leaving out. So that's all I have. Eat Norwalk shellfish. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Dennis, you're muted. Dennis, you're muted.
No, I'm not muted. Can't hear me?
Now you're okay.
Okay. Under moorings, the committee continues to monitor and renew applications and address any issues or concerns. We have 65 approved applications and 63 renewals under review. We received the final payment from Sprite Island Yacht Club and should be receiving the mooring field inventory. Matt, you are aware of that? I sent you an email.
Yeah, I actually got to email it to you, Dennis. There's a
Okay, so that's in the works.
Yep. Yeah, the check was dropped off with Michelle.
Well, I got the check this morning. I'm concerned about the inventory.
Okay, yeah, I'll shoot that over to you.
Okay, thank you. And we expect to receive payment from Norwalk Yacht Club shortly. I've been working with the harbor master and regarding any issues that need to be addressed. Under harbor safety, I'm not aware of it. The committee's not aware of any issues or concerns regarding harbor safety. I don't know if Bruce is still online, but
No, I'm here.
the issues.
No, all good. I know more 5 mile an hour buoys have been put out in place.
Right.
At the end of the harbor. That's it.
Okay. Finance, Al?
Yeah, I sent everybody a copy of this, so you should have your own version here of what's been going on with our finances. What I have is what's been recorded at the city. So that may be a little different from what other people think. Our Norwalk City grant, normally we get in August. I think I met with a BET a while ago, and we were in line to get $24,000 in August. That may be a little difficult to justify because we have so much cash on hand right now. We're kind of flush for where we should be. We have the order of $20,000, which is a lot right now, and to be getting more is wonderful. On the revenue side, what the city has, year to date, we've received no revenue from the Online Mooring Inc. We've received no revenue from Norwalk Yacht Club mooring fee year to date. Yacht Club at Hickory Bluff, we've got about $10,000 plus in, which would be their two payments. And what's been recorded is Sprite Island's first payment. So we're way behind on the revenue side, and I think we should be reaching out to Dunmee's people a little bit because there's borrowing money from us. Norwalk Yacht Club has plenty of money. They're just not going to share it until at the very last minute so they can have the use of those funds. If I had a letterhead and knew how to do it, I would be pleased to write letters to these people and just say, your mooring permits are all canceled if you don't have this done in 10 days. It's just silly for us to be going on not collecting this revenue. It's crazy.
Now, under the online mooring, they make direct deposits to the controller.
Yes, but
You're not receiving that?
the controller has not received any of that money, or it's gone to the wrong place.
Well, something's wrong because it happens all the time and I get emails, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, as far as the city's concerned, there no revenue has been credited to the Harbor Commission to date. Talked with them today about that.
I'll check into it.
Okay, but still, it's just silly. These first payments are due in March, and they're coming in April and May, and it's I think it's silly.
I get it, and I send emails out, and
yeah, I'm happy to write letters, Dennis.
Yeah, I know that's what I do too, but it's
Norwalk Sailing School. I know they're in business this year. I don't know if they've got any moorings. I don't know if they put any moorings in.
The harbor master was working on that because there's a new people
new ownership
own it. New owner.
We have revenue. The water quality program is $1,500 from the Shellfish Commission, it's $1,500 from the Health Department, and that is for the water quality program that we run jointly with those departments. All the money goes through us. On the expense side, Greg Scully's last check was in January at the end for the previous month. I've been working with the payroll and Bruce to get him started on the getting paid. His appointment letter has been filed with the city, and I think we sorted out some email kerfluffle today, so he should be paid back to the first of the year, actually, because he started doing this job in January. And again, these are online mooring charges, again, that are billed to the city. We see all these charges from our online billing service. Just don't seem to be getting credited the revenue somehow.
I'll check into that.
Yeah. So we're paying, but we're not getting we got $1,000 plus out, but we nothing recorded on the inside. Secretarial service, we had a hit back in June that the buildings from the Secretarial Service had been sitting somewhere in City Hall, and that not passed along for improvement. So we had $3,200 worth of meeting minutes that had never been paid for. So we sorted that out. Those are now going, I assume, to Amelia. Michelle got that straightened out, so those all go to her. So Michelle gets the bills from the Secretarial Service for Harbor Commission as well as the minutes. Again, I'm waiting for bills, invoices from Jeff on his work for us, because we should be dealing with that. And then we have our water quality interns down here. These are the guys that are paid and hired by the health department, but they work on health department water quality issues. We have $3,000 of revenue from other departments. Looks like our contribution will be more like $5,000 this year to the interns, plus what the Shellfish Commission and the health department put in. I think we should ask for a little bit more from Shellfish and Harbor and the Shellfish Commission to help us with that, as well as the health department, because as we know, wages are climbing rapidly. That's about it. We have 20,000 at this point in the month. We have $20,000 on hand. I'm hoping we'll see a couple revenue checks deposited before the end of the month. I have a couple of invoices just to put some, talk about the transit moorings. I've been working with Bruce on transit moorings. I have an invoice for $875 to provide and install 2 moorings. We've done a great job using on-hand materials. The mooring balls we have look terrific. They're bright yellow. We had them painted yellow. We didn't buy them yellow. So $875 for 2 full sets of tackle pennants and mooring balls painted yellow is a great deal. The sad part about that is we haven't been able to get any revenue because of the lag in getting DACWA signed up. Hopefully that will be resolved shortly. Even though it's the end of the season, I think it's good to get that established and start using it a little bit, so we're ready to jump at the top of the next season. We look to DACWA to really be our marketing arm. If you look at the website, DACWA does a good job of promoting destinations as well as reserving the space and collecting the money seamlessly. So we're still working hard, Bruce and I, to get that sorted. So any questions?
Alan, I'm still concerned about the hesitation of the mooring clubs, the clubs to submit their fees for their mooring fees. They usually collect from their boaters right up front, right in the beginning of the season.
That's why it really upsets me, John.
That's not the case, John.
I'm sorry?
That's not the case.
No,
They keep telling me that they need the vessels in place and So they know who's there and how many they are, and it doesn't happen until July. So that's why, one of the reasons why it's so late.
Dennis,
Yeah.
can I just bring up what our rules for moorings are? And this is
I know what they are,
document-
Jeff. I know.
Yeah,
exactly
no,
what
I know. I
pointed
know
out,
you
I
do.
sent
And
an email to them.
yeah, so they may say that we don't know who's going to be in there. However, section 8E says the vessel located in managed fields, which this is a managed field, of at least 50 vessels subject to valid federal and state commercial mooring permits. A preliminary mooring list must be submitted to the harbor master by the mooring field manager by March 31st. This list must be accompanied by a fee equal to 1/2 the amount of the prior year's total fee for the entire mooring field.
That's correct, Jeff, but the list is not a current list. It's from last year.
Correct. So it's from last year. So fee equal to 1/2 the amount of the prior
which we
year's
get.
total fee.
Which we get.
We didn't get it though. We haven't
Yes, we
gotten
did.
anything from.
We've gotten the first payment for all three of them.
Oh, we
Not
have.
according to the city.
Well, I don't know what the city's doing, but I
The
know.
city's not, nothing has,
submitted it.
nothing has been received from Norwalk Yacht Club at all this year.
I've gotten 2 checks from Norwalk Yacht Club. And I made a deposit at the city. I mean, whatever I receive, I make a copy of it and I submit it. So I don't know what the city's doing.
So obviously, are they putting it in the general fund?
I'll find out tomorrow. I don't know what they're doing.
I think that's critical.
It's an issue.
Well,
Yeah,
then
what
I
I-
take it
what
all
I-
back.
As I-
I mean, that's
As I said at the
$9,000 or so.
As
Yeah.
I said at the beginning, all I have is what the city tells me has been deposited or
Exactly.
credited
Exactly.
to us, and it never, all these things don't show up.
Alan, do you deal with one person in the accounting office or what?
I deal with Mariana in the controller's office.
So do I.
Are they well aware of the separation of the general fund and the harbor
Oh,
management?
absolutely. Yeah, there's no question. I get a report from Mariana, within minutes of asking for it.
Yeah.
But it's not just she opens a ledger. She keys in the account number and the month or whatever period of time, and that's what pops out. So
Well,
maybe Dennis should
the checks that
communicate.
come in for half the fee, where do they get deposited? Does the city get it first or do we get it first?
I'll try to find that out. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, Dennis, so you get a check and then you drop it off at the city or is that what happens or?
Yes, I get a check. I make a deposit with the city.
Huh.
Oh, well, okay.
And I just assumed it was turned into the city. I knew it was turned into the city and they deposited it in the correct account. I didn't.
Dennis,
There
just
was an
from
issue
like the
here.
check I dropped off yesterday. So the $1,500 that's shown in Alan's report that came through for Sprite from March.
Right.
Right.
What's the disconnect, I guess? And again, this is a rhetorical question. I'm not sure if you even know. But do they do the system differently than dropping a check off at P&Z like we do? For it to go to you and go to the right spot and get.
I end up getting all the checks.
Okay.
And it goes to the controller's office when I'm done. So
There's just somewhere in Norwalk City Hall is being routed somewhere else that it's not.
well, it's
showing up.
being routed from P&Z to me. And then I physically walk up and make the deposit at the controller's office. Fill out the form and I give them the check. So what happens after that, I don't know.
So it's actually at the controller's office then, if everything else is the same.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mariana, it's all to her attention.
Well, Matt, when you deposit that $1,500 check, I mean, who did you give that to?
So perfect example. So we got the summary of the remaining moorings off yesterday or 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it was. And I went to P&Z and handed it to Michelle. And then she hands it off to Dennis. And then Dennis does that, procedure to deposit it. And I'm
I
just,
have to fill out a
again,
form to deposit it.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel bad for you, Dennis. There's so much.
It's just
you know,
how that got transmitted properly, but then the others, at Dennis, were they submitted at the same time?
What do you mean? What do you mean, John?
Did you, did you get all checks?
I don't get all three at the same time now.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you deposited both at the same time.
I deposited the $1,500.
Oh, okay.
Matt just gave me I got one yet today, actually, from Sprite Island, and I'll just write that up and I'll deliver it tomorrow.
I wonder if there's something you can
Once
discuss with them.
I
Alan, about.
deliver it, I don't know what happens to it. I got to find out. It's in the wrong account. Obviously.
Okay.
I'm wondering if is it in that, is it possibly in that other one there for Royden Yacht Club? Because that seems like that's really significant.
No, that's right. 8,200. That's correct.
That is correct. Okay.
Yeah.
I take it all back.
No problem.
So
Jeff.
it's
funny because I can only speak for us, Jeff, and we've got like 60 some odd moorings, a handful of club boats, and to be honest, it's the differentiation between the guy who, and it's peanuts, but it's the guy who has a 19-foot and just bought a 23, or it's the guy that has two 19-foot sailboats and decided not to put one in this year. That's the only difference between getting it in April, May, and July, August. That's the big difference.
Right. Yeah.
And Sprite, honestly, Sprite is usually on time. This year you've been a little late, but that it happens.
And then I was just so happy to see that after 3 weeks of hounding our treasurer, then it was addressed to the Harbor Commission and not the city of Norwalk. So I'm just glad that we were able to take it.
Maybe that's what happened to the Norwalk Yacht Club one.
I check him. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I just feel bad
Dennis,
for Dennis because it seems like it's such a labor-intensive project where, I mean, I take a picture of a check and it's in my Fidelity account in the morning. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
Do you want to put the Harbor
Put an air
checks in your
tag on
account then? Is that what you're saying?
We'll never get him back.
No, it takes 6 months anyways, Alan. You don't want those checks.
Dennis, do you want me to talk to Marianne tomorrow, or do you want to talk with?
It's up to you, Alan. If you feel
I mean,
you that's fine.
I don't. Whatever you want. I mean, if you're dropping them off, maybe you should ask.
I'm going to drop him off tomorrow, and I'll try to talk to her.
Okay. Or use me. Maybe you should just tell me or copy me or something when you put a check in, and I'll put it
Okay.
in.
I can do
And then
that.
if it doesn't come from the city, if I don't see it on their stuff, I can ask the question of what happened to this.
Good point. I'll do that. Yeah. I'll email you.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jeff, are you, not Jeff, Alan, are you done?
I am
have a
done.
question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
I'm sorry?
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
Thank you, sir. So Alan, if there is a formal increased ask of the Shellfish Commission and the Health Department, if you could please get that to me, maybe just in the form of an email by next Thursday for our meeting, I'd appreciate that.
Okay. I don't expect to get it done by then. So
Okay.
probably we'll be looking for next year anyway.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks, Alan.
Okay.
Hey, Alan, have the interns been coordinating with the birthplace as well? They've been working in both places, both locations?
As far as I know, again, that I know very little about that program. It runs through our account, but I've never been with it since it started. So I just recognize the numbers when they come through. I know the health department supervises the people and gives them their assignments.
Because we were paying for reagents and supplies for Earthplace as
Yes,
well.
we get some of that. We get that. That bill comes later. With the $1,500 that's on the sheet now, that we paid earlier.
Okay, are we ready for the next, for plans and recommendations?
Sure. I guess.
Go ahead.
Okay, so plans, I try to revisit the with the slip fees with the city, sent it back to the attorneys, and as far as I know, they have not contacted Stanford yet unless Jeff, you,
No, I checked with Mr. Fideli and no one had contacted him.
Okay.
He was anticipating a call.
yeah, thanks. So 8/2 on the 2nd of this month. And then today I followed up again. And I did, reword everything, making sure that, we were focused solely on a slip fee. So I have no word, not a peep from anybody except for an out of office today. But that was it. So other than that, that's about it. Although when I was reading through the rules for for moorings, I was thinking that maybe we should have a late fee for anyone who doesn't submit their paperwork on time. Although the second part of that, I think it says something about you have to get the final submission in by April 30th, which that's going to be very difficult to do. Nobody, you don't know whose boat is in the water, so that's tough. But by in March, the initial, if they don't pay by that time, then maybe there's a way to collect the late fee.
Yeah, I think the late fee was $90, right, Jeff? It's under a statute number.
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't know that. Jeff, if you
Yeah,
know if there's a late fee.
It's not in the regulations.
It's not in the regulation. There's a late fee if you don't do the permits, but it says nothing about payment.
I'll send you what I have.
Okay.
Okay, that's news to me anyway.
Yeah, would you send it to me as well?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
Jeff.
Other than that, that's it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Newsletter, Alan.
No report, no news. Or the other way around, no news, no report.
No news is good news.
Yeah, and, quite often.
Thank you. Water quality, Joe and John. Good seeing you, John.
John, you want to go? I'm ready to go.
You're muted, John.
Joe, you go ahead. You're the master of the water quality.
Thank you. To start with, gentlemen, we have a unique situation right now in the water. And before I get into the minutes from the last meeting, where the water temperature on the bottom is better than the water temperature on the surface. The surface temperature the last 2 days has reached 80 degrees, both off of Cove Marine as well as off of the Maritime Aquarium. And what that does to oxygen levels is it tanks the oxygen levels, but it's because it's a little bit cooler on the bottom, the oxygen levels are better. And the oxygen levels on the surface are not that good at all. So those of you that are fishermen, fish off the bottom, you're probably going to be more successful at this point. As far as what Jeff gave a prelude to, we had an interesting meeting this last meeting. We had a communication presented to us by Diane Lauricello. And in that, what she did is she handed us ahead of time a consent order, that a consent decree that had been sent to Connecticut Deep. Mayor Rilling signed off on it. And this was a result of the city trying to not go through a lawsuit with Save the Sound. Now, I don't know all the details on it. We were never informed as part of the mayor's water quality committee, but it has to do with water quality. It absolutely has to. And the two areas of concern were the sewage processing outfall at number 2 and the illegal discharge across the river. And this was presented by Dick Harris. And Diane questioned the wording on this appears to show that the state is tired of waiting for the movement on this issue. And apparently this has been going on for quite a while, and Save the Sound brought it to the front of what's going on. Jeff, do you have anything else that you were able to glean from this?
No, but maybe this should be, but anyway, if you recall, last year, the city applied to DEEP for the renewal of its discharge permit from the wastewater treatment plant. And so I don't have any firsthand information about the status of this consent order that we just became aware of. But we know that when the city was applying for the renewal of its discharge permit, Save the Sound, an environmental organization, raised some concerns. And as a result, and the Harbor Commission commented, as of course we would during the permit review. And we had asked for some questions about the capacity of the wastewater treatment plant in light of city plans or anticipated plans for future development on the waterfront. But Save the Sound raised specific concerns about discharges. And again, this is my recollection. There was a public informational hearing that was held in January of 2021. And that's distinguished from an adjudicated hearing. It was simply presenting information, and the city provided information on the status of its treatment and the work at the plant. And then we didn't hear anything more about that. So we just assumed that the discharge permit was renewed. And I think we still assume that, but we didn't hear anything more about this matter. And there was no adjudicatory hearing with a hearing officer after that. So we assumed that everything was in order. And then we learned that in May, there was a consent order signed by both DEEP and the city of Norwalk, which talks about specific improvements and work that the city will do with respect to the wastewater treatment plant. And there are time periods on that. So all I'm doing is just remembering what the permit process that we were involved with over a year ago and what we've learned since. So that seems to be an agreement. Well, not seems, it is an agreement between the city and DEEP to do certain things to address issues at the wastewater treatment plant. And there are time periods established on that. And that's the extent to which we're aware of all this. And as Joe said, it appears to be a resolution of a potential lawsuit against the city. So that there is no lawsuit against the city because there's now an agreement for the city to address certain problems. But I'm certainly not the person to speak authoritatively about this. And perhaps, Joe, at the next water quality meeting, we could ask. And the other issue is the person from DEEP who was attending and providing information regularly to the Water Quality Committee, he's retired. So there's no now, there isn't any liaison or person that could have reported on this. So I think we should, both the Harbor Commission and the Shellfish Commission should know what the status of this is. And of course, the Harbor Management Plan supports operation of the plant according to best available technology, and we were the commission was supportive of the renewal. So we need to learn, sorry, again, talking too much, but we need to learn more about all of this, I think. And it's only fair that the Harbor Commission and the Shellfish Commission do know more about it.
Jeff, was this based on the instigation of the Save the Sound comments to Save the Sound?
That we're assuming that, John, but we haven't talked with anybody.
We did see the report that Save the Sound submitted.
So we haven't heard directly from DEEP or at a meeting with Save the Sound, other than what took place over a year ago, where
we did see Save the Sound submission. We saw that, and what's very curious to me is that we've never gotten ever gotten comment is regarding the carrying capacity of that water treatment plant with regard to the building that they're doing here in Norwalk.
But let's find more information. Let's contact Deep and understand what's behind the consent order and maybe, now, the soundkeeper is now part of the Save the Sound operation. So again, we're revisiting history. Just as many years ago, the soundkeeper established that office with a lawsuit against the city of Norwalk for violation of the Clean Water Act, and the funds that were obtained through that lawsuit went to establish the office of the Connecticut or the Long Island Sound soundkeeper.
Joe, have they done studies regarding the amount of building that they've been in Norwalk, the condominiums that they're expanding East Norwalk area and around Norwalk with regard to the water treatment plant's capacity to handle all that?
I don't know if there's studies of that, John, but I know I have asked the question directly.
And we never got any answers from that, Joe.
Well, the answer I got was, we are more than equipped to handle it.
Well, then why do we have discharge problems?
The part of being a committee with no budget and no teeth, we only can make recommendations. And to me, to have a sewage treatment plant that was built and rebuilt up to a few years ago to the population we had at that time, and now we're almost 10 to 20,000 more people. No matter how you put it, that's a lot of extra, coming down the pipes. And
we don't get any, it's amazing. We don't get straight answers from the city.
No. And we put it in writing, the Water Quality Committee put it in writing when we submitted recommendations to the city last year. And it looks like we're gonna have to do it again and just make people aware of the fact this is an issue. And unless people start taking it seriously, the problem is only going to get worse. And what we've learned in the past is sometimes it's better for some of these places to pay a lawsuit than it is to fix the problem. We'll see.
This treatment plant is a tertiary plant, isn't that, Joe?
Not completely. It's secondary plus.
Okay.
In a pure tertiary plant, the water coming out is clear, it's clean, and I think it was Reagan, it was the one that actually took a glass, put it under there and drank from the glass.
Yeah.
And that was out in California years and years and years ago. That would be a pure tertiary system.
I thought we had that capability.
No.
All right.
No. I won't even go swimming off of it.
Well, wasn't there a plant manager that did dive into that pool a couple times and show that it was?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if it was Fred Trefisen or one of his guys, but somebody did have to go in to get something out.
And where is he now?
He's moved up the corporate ladder.
But the other part of this, when the Water Quality Committee was formed, we have all the original documents. It was formed to address issues about the wastewater treatment plant that people didn't understand or know about, and there were complaints about the treatment plant back then that turned out to be unfounded. So the Harbor Commission established the Water Quality Committee to be able to discuss these sorts of issues in a public meeting and be able to I don't want to say set the record straight, but at least provide information that's factual. And now we're sort of back to the same.
We've always had rapport with the plant manager. He's always
back to the same point that people are asking questions and we don't have the answers to them.
To clarify what Jeff just said, what happened when the committee was first formed, we had no protocols for testing water. We had no protocols for doing sampling. We knew nothing. And we knew how to test water, but we didn't know what was here in Norwalk. And what we did find out through investigative work and stuff is we found out that someone had fallen asleep on the job and forgot to move water from one tank to another. That had happened, but not consistently. But what did happen is we discovered by banging on doors and talking to researchers, that's when we found out that the geese were a major issue here in Norwalk. And my favorite statistic was at that time that a goose could leave behind a half a pound of fecal material per day, and that they also contained E. coli just like people. However, at that time, we did not know how to do DNA testing to find out if the DNA was from a goose or from a human in the E. coli that was being sampled. And even today, we know it's a monumental issue to find that out. Because we can find out that there might be human fecal material, but we don't know how much of the bacteria that we're sampling is human versus goose. We do know the goose population has been moved significantly out of the area. We don't see them at Cat Pasture Beach as much, and we don't see them at Taylor Farms. I used to walk my dog back in those days, and there would be over 300 geese just at Taylor Farms alone, because I was the only one walking a dog there. And then if I drove into Cat Pasture Beach before they closed that for dogs, there would be another 300 to 500 geese on Cat Pasture Beach. Now, if you do the math, if it doesn't rain in a few days, you've got 3/4 of a ton or a ton of raw sewage going into the sound, just washing off of the asphalt and the beach that's there. So we don't have that issue anymore, but we have well over 10,000 more people, well over that. Plans for a lot more.
Let me ask a question. The issue with discharge of the sewer treatment plant is not from population, it's from stormwater, right? We have issues when it rains because our stormwater goes into the sewage because we have a combined sewer. And we will never build a plant big enough to handle, increased rainfall events that we've been having. Or is that what we think we should happen?
We do not have totally combined sewers.
Not totally combined, but it's partially combined, right? There is stormwater that goes into the sewage treatment plant because there are combined sewers.
In some places, yes, and I don't know where they are.
So that's the volume issue. That's the reason we shut down beaches and sailfish beds after rainstorms. It's not because of apartments.
Yes.
And that's so
usually.
Has there ever been a shutdown of swimming or shellfish because of a non-rain event?
Yes.
And how did that come about? I'm just
failures.
Just so mechanical failures, human failures at the plant.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
mechanical usually.
Right. So that's.
So what you're saying, Chris, is then that addresses the carrying capacity issue, that this plant has enough carrying capacity to meet the census of Norwalk.
Well, that's what I understand, and when we have heavier and heavier rainfall, we have more intense rainfall events. That's going to affect the number of days you have. Not this year, obviously. This year we're begging for water, but that's what does. I mean, we know you guys from shellfish can tell know better. There's at certain rainfall events we shut down the shellfish beds without even looking at the water, just for the volume. The volume of rain that falls is when we shut down shellfish beds, and beaches as well.
But Chris, uniquely enough, I'm really worried. Should we get a decent rain event, how much E. coli will be dumped out? Because all these sewers that had any bacteria in them have been festering and have been reproducing bacteria, so that when we get a slug that can flush them out, oh my God, we're going to be loaded with bacteria out there.
Sure, that makes if you have a really big storm immediately following a drought like this, yeah, it's going to be like the highways. The highways get covered, parking lots, everything get covered with oil.
Yep.
And it doesn't rain for 3 weeks, and then you get a rain. It's extra slick. It's extra dangerous.
Jeff,
you can smell it on a hot summer day, when you get a little bit of rain. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. That helps me understand.
Could we not, Joe, invite someone from DPW to the water quality meeting and have a discussion and talk to someone at Deep?
I have,
And then we could put together a report of our understanding of what this issue is, and maybe we can help resolve this and counter misinformation, or I think that's our job, to understand issues like this and make an objective and factual report on what's going on.
I've made the request with Ralph Kolb, and he said they would not send anybody to our meetings, but we would have to go to theirs. They have regular meetings. So I think I may have to add one of those to my list and ask to speak to the group and then go from there. Either that or get a committee member to do it. But you just reminded me of something else. At the last meeting for the Harbor Commission, I asked if you wanted a presentation by USGS on how they do sampling. And you said yes. Can we do it at your next meeting? And if so, what's the date of it? Because they would be happy to do a presentation for you.
At the Harbor Commission meeting or Water Quality meeting?
Water Commission, or Harbor Commission.
It's the
September 28th, I believe.
28th of September.
Okay. Is that okay for you? And what time should I tell them?
Well, it probably makes sense to put him on the agenda early, or maybe after plans and recommendations, so then he could leave.
So 7?
You mean after application?
Yeah, after that. Maybe 7:30.
It's up to you guys. And it's not a he, it's a she.
Okay, well, she can 7.
Two of them, one will be from USGS and the other will be from Deep. And they're the ones that are collaborating on the testing they're doing right now.
Let's do it at 7 and be brief with the plan review.
So 7:30 on the 28th.
Yes. Joe, could you send me some information? I'll get it to put into the agenda.
I will.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, are there any other questions for Joe and quality?
Good work, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Amelia, do we have any people from the public that'd like to comment?
We have 2 attendees, so if either of you would like to speak, you can raise your hand and I can give you that permission.
Okay.
So far, no hands raised, so I don't think we have any public comments tonight.
Okay, very good. We have approval of the minutes for July 27th, 2022. Somebody like to make a motion?
Make a motion to accept the minutes
We have a second?
as amended.
Second.
We have a second, Jeff. Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstentions?
Abstain.
Alan abstains.
I
Anybody?
abstain too. I
That's
wasn't- I
not
forgot
Alan,
I
that's
wasn't
Mike.
there.
Mike Matthews.
Oh, Mike, did you raise your hand, Al? You're
Yeah.
abstaining?
Dennis, I'm an abstention. I
Laura, you're
wasn't there.
abstaining, and Mike, you're abstaining. Okay. Very good, thank you. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, Jeff? you
No,
have a
no,
question?
go ahead, Jeff.
Is there, did we already go over old business or new business? I just had a couple of other comments and I don't know if it's appropriate.
We could do that. We could do that.
Could I just make it regarding Pete and Michael's retirement? Perhaps we could put together a plaque or some sort of a tribute presentation, either with a photograph or acknowledging their service to the community and the police department in Norwalk Harbor.
And the Harbor Management Commission.
Yeah, from the Harbor Management Commission.
That'd be nice, Jeff. That's a
That's
good
a
idea.
nice, good idea, Jeff.
So let's do that for maybe for the next meeting. And then just a couple of other things under old business, that appellate court decision affecting Harbor Management Authority. we're still waiting for the appellate court to rule on that. And it's expected, and it was expected by August 1st, but we still haven't heard that. So that may be something that well, depending on the outcome of that could affect certainly the future of the Harbor Commission and what we do.
Greenwich is spearheading that, Jeff?
Well, they're not spearheading anything. They're part of the appeal of the Superior Court decision that the Superior Court judge, as you know, ruled that a Harbor Commission has no authority to comment to deep on deep permits. And that decision was referenced in the hearing officer's decision on the walk bridge.
Don't we know that? Yeah.
So depending, the town of Greenwich may, depending on the outcome of the appellate court, may wish to appeal that case to the Connecticut Supreme Court. And then the other things, we have to be prepared because the waterfront industrial study that the Planning and Zoning Department is working on, which includes recommendations for the Water Street area, is getting close to being presented for public review. So we need to anticipate that will be we have a significant interest and role in commenting on that. And sorry, Dennis, that I didn't say those in my earlier report.
No problem, Jeff. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
We have an adjournment, a motion to adjourn, I presume?
Now I'll make a motion.
Okay. Everybody's in favor, I'm sure. Well, take
Need
care.
a second?
Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Second.
Second, okay. I'm sure we're all in favor. Thank you.
And Mike Mathis, if I can get your email, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll send you an email right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night,
Take care.
everybody. Harbor Master signing out.
Good night,
Hey,
everyone.
everybody.
Right.